Grab a cup, pull up a chair. The Veterans Coffee Club podcast is on the air. Different branches, different posts, different years, same ride. We know the long convoys, guardships, chow halls, pride. We know the crackle of a radio, boots humming on the floor, letters home, family calls, the waiting by the door. No matter where we serve or the uniform we wore, there's always room around this table. Come on in and shut the door. Veterans Coffee Club podcast. Pull up and take a seat. One cup, one story. Keep the pulse and eat. Veterans Coffee Club, where the words run deep. We show up, we speak up, and we keep what we keep. With a hot cup of coffee and some truth we need to say. Veterans helping veterans, that's how we lead the way. Blue or green, doesn't matter. Yeah, you still in. If you're in it now, say so. We all pack the boxes, we move from town to town. Hey! Late nights with the news on, yeah, and the phone right there. You know that life too, yeah, we live some of it. You ever have one of those days you don't know what to say all the time? That's why we sit here. From yesterday's warriors to those still serving today, we honor every sacrifice and the price that freedom paid. The Veterans Coffee Club podcast. Grab a cup, take a seat. One cup, one story. Honest talk, no repeat. The Veterans Coffee Club podcast. Say it plain, say it straight. We show up, we speak up. No backing out the gate. So grab a cup and join us. We keep it real, we keep it true. The Veterans Coffee Club podcast starts right here with you. Veterans helping veterans. One cup, one story, and one conversation at a time.
Good morning, virtual world. And I got my camera's off. I am not dressed up today. You know, it's Saturday, so it's okay to have bedhead. I think don't look too shabby. I don't really like the thing right up in my face, though. My jaw's doing better this week. I feel a little better, but still healing. Good morning, everybody. I'm Nicole Schuyler Kapuscinski, OIF 2008 combat veteran and host of the Veterans Coffee Club podcast. And this week, I wanted to talk about the Washington, D.C. saga again. Veterans benefits, the case of the missing soldier. I don't really understand why we have so many people that go missing. We'll get into that. Military, veteran, and community updates. So we'll see what we get into as we progress through today's podcast. So good morning. Grab your coffee. And I have a cat in the background. Aaron, can you do something about her, please? Can you do something with her, please? I can hear and hear. Maybe. Okay, I got a Facebook pulled up. All right. All right. If you don't know who this guy is, you really should check him out. So I get to flipping on my phone, and you know what? I cannot stand. See, look, now my face is covered by my name. What's up? It's like, whatever. You're not here for me anyway, for the information and camaraderie when people actually get to tune in. So if you don't know who this guy is, after the uniform, the mission doesn't stop. This guy, I found him the other day, and I don't know what his name is yet, but he's definitely a veteran. I can tell by the way that he carries himself in these videos, and he makes some really good reels. Okay. I just really, it's refreshing to be able to, scroll through my morning. I do a lot of flipping and then do the admin for all the groups. So when I'm trying to wake up in the morning and have my cup of coffee on a, Monday through or Sunday through Friday, it's nice to see these things. And he's been on point with so much of the news that I get from him that it's not even funny. And then, okay, so last week I started, I think it was him too that said something about it, but the veterans community is divided right now. So we got the Democrats and the Republican veterans are fighting. I mean, we've been divided for a little bit, but this year, this last round in DC really shook something up, because you got the VFW and the guy who wrote, Mike or Mark Boast. I'll look at it again, because I've just been watching some of these videos more than actually studying it, because I've been studying other stuff, and I'm fighting some lawsuits with local politicians myself. So I got to work on all that stuff, and I have a hearing on Thursday. So anyway, it's nice to have somebody else be able to look all this stuff up and then squeeze it into reel like this guy's been doing. So let's see. This guy has really good military humor. Let me
of America's veterans.
Okay, let me turn that down a little bit. And one bad thing about volume, and I'm sorry with you guys, if this comes out louder than what the mid sound is on your machines or your phone, but I'm working on it. So it doesn't have his name. Okay, anyway, I like
Act has solidly split the American military community and the American veteran community down the middle. There are some that oppose it, and there are some that agree with it.
I want to talk about that video because it is high. I was going to take the weekend off.
The Care of America's Veterans Act has solidly split the American military community and the American veteran community down the middle. There are some that oppose it, and there are some that agree with it.
Ironic. That's what I was just.
I want to talk about that video because it is highlighting arguably one of the biggest vulnerabilities in our veteran community right now: division. Right now, we have massive organizations like the VFW, the American Legions, and other BSO and the BSO community taking different stances on legislation. And trust me, that is fine. Opposition is normal. Debate is absolutely necessary. But when we take this opposition and then we air our dirty laundry out, literally to the public, we lose. When Congress looks at the veteran community and sees separate groups fighting each other on how we should fund our benefits, they win. They use that division to justify cutting corners. We are literally watching them send hundreds of billions of dollars overseas while telling us we have to rob Peter to pay Paul just to justify veteran health care. It is imperative, absolutely imperative that leadership of these VSOs and the BSO community get in a room, close that door, have these hard discussions, and walk out with one unified voice. We don't have to agree on everything behind those closed doors. But when we face the public and we, especially when it comes to Congress, we have to be a collective front. We cannot have this bickering back and forth. And if we don't stand together as one massive voting block, we will be picked apart piece by piece. We all wore that uniform together. It's time that we start acting like it. Receipts over opinions.
Care of America's Veterans Act.
Oh, receipts over opinions. See, I like that guy. And how ironic that that was the topic that, Wally. Okay, I didn't realize I had some of my furry friends in my room until right then. But I do like this guy. I like both of them, actually. This one's got a lot of views. This one's got 19K. Okay, so basically, this is how I got some of my info. I'm going to hit play. I'm going to put mute on my mic, and I'm going to get my cat. I'm going to get the animals out of the room because they're distracting me. So
I want to talk to you about some math that they absolutely don't want you to see. Now Congress is moving a reconciliation bill that's worth $95 billion. $95 billion. And Congressman McGovern offered an amendment to this bill, okay? The amendment was wildly simple. It said take $13 billion out of that $95 billion and use it to pay for the Richard Starr Act, like a very clean-cut version of it. And the wounded veteran tax for combat injured veterans, no offsets, no cutting veterans today or future veterans tomorrow, just pay for the bill. What do you think the Republicans did with it? They rejected it. They have $95 billion on the table, and they said that we can't afford it with that $13 billion. So you can't afford to pay for the men and women who bled for this country? They tell you that they don't have the money and it's not there, and that they have to cut over the course of 10 years with, and affect 1.5 million veterans with the Take Care of American Veterans Act. The money is there. They just don't want to spend it on you. This is why I'm heading to DC tomorrow. And tomorrow I get the opportunity to sit down with one of the ranking members of the House of the Veteran Affairs Committee. And I'm going to bring the receipts and every other receipt that I have pulled directly into that office. Stay tuned. Receipts over opinions.
Let me come off unmute myself. So one thing I did notice about some of the veterans is, like, a lot of times I think these guys are Republicans, or I think I can tell what their political preference is, and then they surprise me. So there's another guy I watch on YouTube a lot. Let me get him pulled up, because if you don't know who he is, he has some good info on his. Okay, let me show you this guy real quick. So Valhalla VFT. Now, he's funny. And I started realizing the other day that he's not Republican, and I'm not sure if he's Democrat. I really don't know, but it made me start questioning. Well, on top of everything else that's going on politically with me, it made me start questioning what my political beliefs have been up to this point. Like, which side am I on? Because up until they punished me for congratulating a combat veteran for getting a position up north somewhere, I believed in freedom of speech. I thought our Constitution superseded the bylaws of any club or organization. And I learned, June 20th, 2026, that the bylaws supersede the Constitution if you got, if it's the right person using them. And that is sad for me. So anyway, Valhalla said something in one of his things, and it made me start thinking. And then, like, locally, I don't know who all's on here, and nobody's really commenting. But locally, we have a lot I've met more Democrat veterans than I have Republican veterans, right? Like the older veterans seem to be more Republican. My generation from like, let's say 50s and below, everybody I run into, a lot of them seem to have different views than me. Like, and I really didn't realize, you know, how big of a difference it was until this last election when when you look at the example locally, like what our ballots look like. When I was looking at the cards or the ballots and trying to see, you know, like the candidates, who's against who, there was a lot more Democrats that were veterans that ran for the 2026 election than there were Republicans. And I was just really thrown off about it. And then I'm getting attacked by the Republicans, which have always, like, that's you know, what I served. I thought I was a Republican until this year. And then they don't want me. So I feel like the illegitimate stepchild that nobody wants. A little Cinderella, you know, because they've had me voting for their candidates here in Madison County since the 90s. And then some little 30-something-year-old chick comes along. She's not even in good standing. She's allowed to make all kinds of false accusations against me and then turn all these character assassinate me after she totally turdy-dirred me. And then here we are, and I'm supposedly Republican in bad standing now after 20-something years. So it is what it is, whatever. But yeah, so it's kind of hard being, and I was telling my husband, I'm like 1% of the 10% of Americans that can actually serve our nation. And then it's really hard to find anyone that I can actually relate with. But now it's got me questioning all my beliefs, right down, you know, politics, religion, everything. Because, you know, it's like they teach us what they want us to believe, and they're not always right. And it takes time and patience to learn who's who. But what I wanted to get at is, if you don't know who this guy is, he's got a lot of good information on, well, we could watch this one. So give me a minute. I'll come back to him because it looks like he's talking about, oh, okay, he's got one. What is it though? What's the time on that? Okay, we'll jump over there and look at what he said, because that's really what I want to talk about is the merger. So he might already have a raw, yeah, and there's 129K views. So let me go back over here for a minute. So here's some shorties. 95 Hegseth. See, everybody's been, you got people that like this guy, Hegseth, you got people that make fun of him, and I don't know what to think. I've always thought he seemed pretty decent kind of guy, but I watch him get roasted and it's like, ooh, horrible. Okay. Congress not giving the Pentagon another 1.5 trillion is the greatest threat the country faces, and blames Biden. And see, that's the other thing I can't stand. I can't stand that Trump people blame Biden and Biden people blame Trump people or Trump. And then they get to fussing about that. I can't stand that everybody fusses over like people that really don't seem to care about the little guy in America. Oh, I'm not even back on the screen yet. Here we go. Excess. Sorry about that. That's what I was talking about right here.
What that means 1.5 trillion, given the world that we live in and the disaster of what the Biden administration budgets gave us. Not funding this department at 1.5 trillion, I believe, is the greatest threat that our nation faces. Either we invest in our warriors at this moment of step change on the battlefield and growing threats, or this is all just talk.
All right, let me pull up the receipts on this one because I want to make sure that we're all working on the same math. All right. During Trump's first term in office, the defense budget went from $647 billion in 2017 to $778 billion in 2020. That's a $131 billion increase on his watch. During Biden's 4 years, it went from $753 billion to $841 billion, an $88 billion increase, less than Trump's first term. We are literally looking at a $1.15 trillion bill now. The NDA that already passed the House, and the Secretary of Defense is at the podium asking for $1.5 trillion and has the audacity to blame the other guy. The man who hasn't been in office for 2 years somehow caused a defense spending crisis during a term when the guy asking for the money was already in the building growing the budget himself. But here's the part that should make every veteran's blood just boil. They need 13 billion-ish to pay for the Richard Starr Act. Okay, a clean version. They tried to do it. A senator actually gave it a shot, and the Republicans shot it down. They said that there's no money, that they can't pass it, but in order to pass the Major Richard Starr Act, no, they want to pass a bill that would cut $57 billion over the course of 10 years and affect 1.5 million veterans. That doesn't make any sense. They have 1.5 trillion for the Pentagon. They have nothing for the people that actually fight these wars. So how about you stop blaming the other guy, pay the bill, and ultimately receipts over opinions?
What that means.
Okay. I always learn such good information from these guys, man. I went to Congress. The ranking member had something to say. Rep. Mark Takano, House Committee on Veterans Affairs. See, I'm going to just let these guys talk because it seems like they're more informative than me right now.
Well, as you know, I'm up here with Congressman Mark Takano, and well, luckily for us is we've got a team in the fight and a player who's really on this side of the veterans. So instead of me continuing to talk, let's get his words out of it. Congressman, I've got a question for you. So we had $95 billion with that reconciliation, and you and I both know $13 billion could have covered down on the Major Richard Starr.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's $13 billion over 10 years. Here's the thing. This reconciliation bill is about more supplemental defense money going to pay for the war in Iran, right? They haven't, actually, there's $100 billion left over from the big, bad, ugly bill. So there's more than enough money to pay for something like Richard Starr. We don't have to go to veterans benefits and cut them. And actually, on Major Richard Starr, this is about military pensions that should be paid for. This should be coming out of the defense budget anyway. So I don't understand why we can't just agree on $1.3 billion this year and every next year for the next 10 years. Look, Americans will look at $100 billion unspent, another $95 billion you want more. You can't find $13 billion to pay for combat veterans who are disabled and should be getting their full pensions. No. There's a way to do this.
Absolutely. And you heard it from the horse's mouth. And as we always know, it's always receipts over opinions. Thank you again, Congressman.
Okay.
So I didn't realize that the end of his stuff said receipts, something about receipts. And so that's kind of funny. I just realized that because I'm always saying receipts are important. Sorry about these notifications. I don't really know how to turn them off. And I am getting notifications because I run all these groups. I have like over 35,000 users that use the shared platform that I built for everybody. Really built for me and Catherine, but I knew eventually it would work itself out. So sorry about the notifications popping up. It just happens. And then lastly, let's see, 216 politicians, hundreds of thousands of Americans. I'm going to do this one, and then we'll hop over here to the Valhalla, because I really want to talk about the Israel merger, because last week, we touched base on it last week and what it would look like. And then after like 20 minutes, I found that video, and everything that I thought was going to happen, he said, "You're wrong. You're wrong." So it is what it is.
We know what happened last night. Let's talk. 216 and hundreds of thousands. These are a couple numbers I got in my head right now. You're probably like, Tom, what are you talking about? 216 would be the individuals that literally turn their back on the American people, are, in my opinion, the most treasonous people on the planet, decided to shut that door, lock it, debate it, and vote yes to merge our military technology supply chain with this foreign nation. Now, those hundreds of thousands, that's the number of Americans online screaming right now, what did you fucking do? I'm just looking at a couple receipts. Just 2 posts about this issue, there was 45,000 reactions in less than 24 hours. Not to mention the millions of views. Right now, to include myself, creators, veterans, taxpayers, we're all saying the same thing. We never voted for this shit. We never wanted this. Those 216 politicians believe they can do whatever they want. They believe they're untouchable because of the lobbyists and the money and everything like that. They believe truly they can do whatever the fuck they want to do. The problem is they seem to forget the biggest thing. They're public servants. You want to pass a $1.15 trillion merger with a military that ain't nobody fucking want. And then at the same time, we had this, $95 billion resolution fund, or, oh, wait, I want to do anything with the veterans with that one too. How the Takava, you wanted to use veteran money to pay for veterans benefits. But here's the thing is when you want to, need this fucking country, you will give them all the money in the world and show every veteran you don't give a fuck. So go ahead, do it. Sign the death note. But remember one big thing. The hundreds of thousands of people right now that you are ignoring are the exact same people that are going to vote your ass in the next cycle. So stand the fuck by. Receipts over opinions. We know what happened last night. Let's talk. 216 and hundreds of thousands.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, now let's go over here to Valhalla. All right, I want to see what. Okay, so this doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't. So he's already put a bunch of stuff into this. This one's about 10 minutes long. Let's see what he.
Because you might be thinking, well, Nate, even if it was under the Pentagon, well, we would be able to see how much money we're sending them, right? Well, let me turn your attention to this. For those of you who don't know, the Pentagon has failed 8 consecutive audits in a row. Yes, it has failed every single audit it has had since 2018. The point being there is nobody in America has any idea where any of the money is going that the Pentagon is spending, because when they get audited, they just go, whoopsie, we lost the money. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. And today is the day where we find out if America will remain a sovereign nation or not. And no, I don't mean that sarcastically. I'm not being hyperbolic. We are literally going to find out that later today, as the House is about to vote on officially the NDAA. And if you don't know what that is, it's the bill that's going to merge the American military and intelligence apparatuses with our greatest allies. Yes, the IDF. Because, wow, that's not the most treasonous thing that's ever happened in American politics. Literally. And again, this is probably the most important thing that's ever been voted on in American Congress, at least in recent modern history. Now, I'm sure YouTube is going to suppress this video because the media doesn't want anyone talking about this. They want it to just slide under the radar so the American people don't pay attention to it. But I wanted to put this video out ahead of time so as many people as possible are paying attention to this, because they're supposed to start voting on this in just a few hours, and everyone should be watching this in America. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. We're going to talk about what all this means. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel. Follow us on Patreon. Grab some America First, America Only merch for the summer. Okay, we're going to jump into it. Let's talk about it. And
hold on. I want to like it. Okay. So this looks like it's going to be good. And then go check out a lot of his other stuff. But I think he's got the time in it. So I'm just going to kind of live react and, like pause occasionally to say something. He's calling this treason. Let me see. Oh, I could. Oh, because I'm not even. Let me see. I'm not even on the Veterans Coffee Club page this morning. I'm over here on a different one. Okay, let's go over here.
I want to.
I hate when it does that. Okay, so we just saw that. Let's go. Right in here. Maybe. I shouldn't have played with it. Okay, like and subscribe. I was somewhere in there. Okay, here we go.
Actually is.
Attempting to merge the U.S. military with the IDF to pass a law that makes it impossible to disentangle, a law that basically funnels military aid to the Israeli military from the United States without any vote. And so it's very stealthy, it's clever, it's completely evil. And there's been very little attention paid to it because the American media is 100% behind it.
No one in the future can withdraw from it, or else it would be a federal violation. How is this possible?
There's no clearer example of treason that I can think of. That is selling out your country.
So like Tucker said there, it's treason. That's exactly what this is. The great part about this is all of these congressmen are going to go on the record with this vote. And by voting on this, this will be treason. It will be sedition. And I hope they all know that. It's never going away. We're going to know who you are forever. And we're not going to forget. Now, I'll explain why this is happening, because as Tucker said there, it's very stealthy, it's very clever, and I'll explain multiple reasons for why they're doing this. But let's talk about what actually happened yesterday. Now, Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna, of course, the only congressman who seem to give a shit about anything that actually is good for America, tried to block this from going through. And then we saw yesterday, as Thomas Massie says here, unfortunately, the rule passed just now, and no debate or vote was allowed on Section 219, integration of U.S. military technology and supply chains with our greatest ally. The NDAA will receive a recorded vote tomorrow with Section 219 in it. I will vote no. Well, at least he will, because every other fucking Republican is going to vote yes. As he then says, while Americans are focused on other things like how to make ends meet in the face of rapidly rising costs of living, tomorrow the House will vote to merge our military technology and supply chains with our greatest ally. Our founders would be appalled at what Congress is doing right now. And it turns out, yes, they would. Because it doesn't say anywhere in the Constitution that we're supposed to be merging our militaries with any other foreign country. And he would be absolutely rolling in his grave right now. All right, and Ro Khanna put out a video last night talking about exactly this.
Massie and I have been fighting to stop the integration of our military with Israel's military. It's shocking that this even has to be explained. It's about American sovereignty. Yet yesterday, the Rules Committee found that Thomas Massie's amendment couldn't even get a vote in the House of Representatives. We do not even have the chance to vote in the House to stop Israel and the United States from co-producing weapons. We need to now fight to strip this amendment in the conference between the House and the Senate.
So now, why are they doing this? Let me give you the real reasons, okay, for whatever bullshit reason they're trying to give you, which they're actually not even trying to give any reasons at all. They're just trying to slide this through stealthily so the American people won't notice that it even happened, and again, won't even allow votes on dissent for it. So that's how you know, yeah, it's probably pretty treasonous. And really what they want to do here by this integration between both the intelligence apparatuses and the military. So what they really want to do here, this is all about funding, right? So you've seen Uncle BB out there talking about how he wants to completely decouple U.S. aid from our greatest ally, right? No more funding. Israel's going to stand on its own. Well, at the same time, they're doing this because what this will do is it'll make it so Congress doesn't have to budget and show the American people how much money we are sending them every year. What they'll do is just conveniently slide this into the Pentagon's budget. And why is that so great? Oh, because then the American people will never know again how much money is actually being sent to them. And I'll show you what.
Now, you know what? That's a good point. No wonder he was setting that up for that. This guy's good, man. Nate's good. And he's funny. If you look at some of the other stuff, and for anybody doing the studying the Charlie Kirk case, go back and look at some of Valhalla's videos on the Charlie Kirk stuff, because him and a couple other ones were right there on top of it. And he's also pretty much, I think Coach Colin maybe too. Coach Colin might be more on the Candace Owens type trail, but I think he was studying it. But Valhalla's got some good videos about the Charlie Kirk murder. And just check it out. So
why? Because you might be thinking, well, Nate, even if it was under the Pentagon, well, we would be able to see how much money we're sending them, right? Well, let me turn your attention to this. For those of you who don't know, the Pentagon has failed 8 consecutive audits in a row. Yes, it has failed every single audit it has had since 2018. The point being there is nobody in America has any idea where any of the money is going that the Pentagon is spending, because when they get audited, they just go, whoopsie, we lost the money. So that's the entire purpose of this. The second point is the intelligence apparatus combining. And why do they really want to do that? Well, it'll give our greatest ally access to, oh, that's right, all of your information, everything that the American government knows about you through its intelligence apparatuses. Our greatest ally will now have access to as well. Now, that sounds like a great thing. Why would they need that? Why would they possibly need that?
That's a good point where he's going right there. I've not heard anybody else mention that part. So that part's a little concerning. Well, a lot concerning. But one of the other guys I was watching the other day, and I can't remember which one, and maybe we'll stumble across the comment here in a little bit, but they were making the point that regular American soldiers, for the most part, are not going to attack other Americans. And so the person, I'm glad I kind of can't remember because I might be misquoting, but he posed the idea that the Israel or a foreign army wouldn't have those same the same moral compass as an American soldier versus other Americans. And it made me think that that is probably one of the most profound statements I've heard in a while, because even with my conspiracy minded self, and we think of the movies, that movie from Red Dawn, and the kids, went out and was trying to defend their community from, I think, China, but now that we're kind of living something where we're merging armies with, armies from foreign soils, it really does make you think Red Dawn. And I do believe that, okay, so I'm an OIF, and if anybody wants to chime in on this, actually, I can Google it. So then I know for sure that I'm right. Let's see. Operation Red Dawn. So it's a movie. Okay, they called the first one. Interesting, because I was thinking Operation Red Dawn was the one that happened after Operation Iraqi Freedom. So there you go. Operation Red Dawn was the 2003 U.S. military mission that successfully captured, disposed Iraq President Saddam Hussein. Wow, I didn't realize that part. But for anybody else, okay, so here's a whole, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, there's a whole bunch of really good, I get Wikipedia. I use, it's kind of, sometimes it's biased and sometimes it's neutral, and you can hear from both sides. That's why I like Wikipedia. I use it a lot. See the capture. So I was on okay, I was in Operation Iraqi Freedom, Camp Liberty, at one of his palaces. That was the one they bombed, probably where they caught him. Shortly, okay, so Saddam disappeared from public view shortly after 2003. The invasion in Iraq, the U.S. military labeled him high-value target number 1, HVT-1, and began one of the largest manhunts in history. So December 13th, 2003. Okay, so they weren't in Baghdad. What is that? Town, Iraq and Tikrit. Okay. So yeah, if you want to go down some rabbit holes, I suggest that's one to start with. Okay, back to what we were doing. The coffee started kicking in.
want that? I don't know. I'll let you speculate on that yourself, but probably not for any good reasons, I'd have to bet. Now, the reason why I'm trying to put optics on this with my platform ahead of time, and I hope every other social media creator does as well, is again, the mainstream media is not saying a word about this. And while Marjorie Taylor Greene says this, the upcoming NDA vote will be the most watched in modern times, and that it will list every member of Congress who betrayed America. Now, I wish this was actually true, but again, the regular American masses have no idea this is even happening. Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, none of them are talking about this. So
I just caught that this morning. I saw something about Marjorie this morning, and I haven't delved into this subject. Oh man, dude, I'm telling you, I don't know what to think about this.
it's really only people that are already ingesting independent media who are paying attention who are actually probably going to see this, although I do agree with her that this will list and document every traitor to the United States that's in our politics. But it's also the big social media companies, yes, YouTube and X. And what I decided to do is just open up X today in a blank account just to see what the basic algorithm is going to push people right now. And you would think this is the biggest news in America and American politics, and again, probably the last 50 to 60 years, you'd think this would be everywhere. Let's see what happens when I pulled up X. All right, just a blank account, as you see here, says set up your profile. But what is the algorithm going to feed you right now? Okay, first thing, Andrew Tate, got it. Here's some ads. Next thing, Andrew Tate, got it. Andrew Tate, got it. Oh, here's Trump with a body double. Yeah, okay, slop, slop, slop.
Now we got to go help people customize and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual.
Wait,
Where's the golf cart?
I hate.
Andrew Tate, Trump with a body double. Not a single poster mention on the feed that they're algorithmically pushing everybody about this on X. Elon, why aren't you showing anybody this? That's very, very interesting. It's all, again, Andrew Tate slob, Donald Trump body doubles. Serious issues like this, nowhere to be found, even on Elon's pro-America platform. Weird. Now, let me be clear. This is not just a specific.
Okay. Sorry that he's making some really good points right here, you guys.
Specifically Israel thing. I don't care what country this is. It could be literally any country, any of our allies. This could be Britain, Australia, Japan, Canada. We have no business merging our militaries and intelligence apparatuses with another foreign country. And here's another big one that's a big problem with this. We're talking about the means of production for military equipment. One of the big things we know about our greatest ally is that they steal American military intelligence and R&D, and they sell it to other countries. So now what we're giving them is all of our technology, all of our highest level technology, and they can feel free to use that or sell it off to Russia, who they're also close with, if you didn't know. And why is that a big deal? Oh, okay. Well, now potentially future wars, the United States military is going to have to fight against its own high level technology and equipment because, I don't know, we just gave it away. You also don't do this because you never know which country who is currently your ally, maybe 40 years from now, won't be your ally anymore. I don't know. If you look at a country like Japan, we have a very close alliance with them. Look at our back history there. Britain, yeah, that's an ally. But didn't we fight the Revolutionary War against them? You see how this works? Why would you merge your militaries with another foreign country when you could potentially be at war with that country later? It doesn't make any sense. And again, it's just ending American sovereignty. And unfortunately, guys, if I'm going to be honest with you, I think this is going to pass and it's going to go through. And it's going to be an abject can of worms disaster going forward for the United States and the rest of the world, especially the Middle East. So I'm going to cut it there. Again, the vote.
See, I had a feeling he was about to cut. So let's cut there too. I want to go see his update.
Because you might be thinking, well,
hold on. Okay. Live stream. Okay. Steroids for soldiers? Come on, man. That's not good. That is not good at all. I don't think they should be pumping us full of anything because you know what happens when we get out? we have reactions. And then if we have to go without because we can't afford things like meds, like steroids, you have the withdrawal effect and all kinds of crazy stuff. So, okay, so he's also following, like I said, he's also following the Charlie Kirk stuff. He's been following along with the court case and all the things coming forth through that, which I haven't even, he's so far ahead of me because I've been having to deal with other things right now. So he's just, there's a lot of information on here, and really people are going to have to get past other people, like people that don't like Trump, and listen to some of the information they're putting out, because if not, a lot of people are going to get down here to when the poo hits the fan and be like, why wasn't anybody telling me? Well, no, they've been telling us. It's just they don't put it on mainstream media. So the only way that any of us learn this stuff is through independent sources. And I just happen to be like really good at finding these independent sources. But plus, I don't have cable. So if I don't have cable, I don't get, I'm not getting programmed by the news every day. Maybe by whoever created Meta and the psyop on that one, but I'm not getting my news from like Fox or anything on TV. I get it from independent sources because I'm not afraid to listen to what they have to say, because I can ignore the stuff that I don't agree with and not get mad, especially when I want to learn something new. So we just listened to, okay, the topic we're covering right now is the Israel merger. I was really hoping that Tanya was going to be awake this morning. Maybe she'll pop on in the next 30 minutes. She probably stayed up late last night. But she has really been sending me messages after messages after messages about this merger, and she's not even a veteran. She's just, wow, her mind's blown just like mine is. So basically, what happened this week is America merged with Israel. So if you haven't been following along with or know, then it would behoove everyone to start paying attention to whatever just happened this week in DC with the merger, because all kinds of things could happen now. Because even though I said last week my biggest concern would be that the younger generations, like my son's generations, the early 20s and just right out of high school, some of them are not ready to be in the military. And so if they were to actually merge, my concern was that they were going to start doing the drafts and start drafting a bunch of the younger generation. And that was my concern. And so now what he's bringing up, what Nate's bringing up, is pretty intense. Okay, so I can't watch that one because it's 3 hours and 55 minutes. Let's see. Let's do some shorts. He's really funny too, you guys. So it is what it is. Okay. So if you didn't know, Congress, who did? Yeah, let's find out. Share this one instead. So, who voted to merge Israel and, yeah, let's see, U.S. Let's see. No, okay. Merge Israel military. See. And I was being lazy. I don't know what to listen to on this one. Okay, I see some of my, I did. I like Al Jazeera sometimes. Okay, that's something different. thought military here. I'll do this one. Horizon as House keeps Section 219. Okay. House approved the rule governing debate HR 8800 by 214 to 211 vote July 21st. So what was the 21st? This would have been Tuesday. The vote allowed the chamber to proceed with the NDAA, but excluded the amendment from reps. Thomas Massey, Ro Khanna, California, that would have removed Section 219. Okay. Some saying we're merging because it's the better technology, but what he just brought up, that's kind of concerning. So if you don't know this topic, it would behoove everyone to get into it. Okay, we'll circle back to that. Let's see. The other thing that's been happening in DC right now. Okay, wait, let's talk about this one. This one's kind of important. So I pulled up some stuff this morning, and I was looking for the one soldier. So there's a soldier missing, and he's been missing for a couple weeks. So let's start with him. So 2 prominent recent cases involve U.S. soldiers reported missing. Specialist Savion Anderson. Okay. Prayer vigil held for missing Fort Bragg Army Specialist Savion Anderson, who vanished 3 weeks ago. What's up with this? 25-year-old was last seen on the base in Fayetteville, North Carolina on June 29, 2026. His wife, Jasmine, is 9 months pregnant with their child. Okay. That's weird. That's very odd. And he don't look like a runner. This dude don't look like a runner. I saw his when his picture popped up on my news feed the other day. That was my first thought too. He doesn't look like a runner. And Fort Bragg hasn't been on my radar because I've been studying the stuff down in Texas. Uh-oh. I gotta see what this is real quick because I'm supposed to buy something today. Supposed to buy a camper, and it just so happens it's my little cousin's. Okay, so she's just giving me the address. And I'm trying to expand the Veterans Coffee Club podcast. We got our enclosed trailer a couple weeks ago. We got all kinds of stuff coming down the pipelines, right? So just be paying attention to, what we got going on. And then next week, we have, on August 1st, is going to be the first podcast where we team up Mouthwash. We're going to go on the Mouthwash platform with the Veterans Coffee Club. And then after, I don't know if I'll have a full coffee club next week, even though it's the first day, because then I'm going to go to a coffee club, or not a coffee club, a classic car event that starts at 11. And I need to go set up, and I was going to go live from there and do all kinds of interviews and stuff with people walking around and possibly give them coffee depending on how the weather is. Or maybe we'll do like a cold brew. I might do like a cold brew this week and have like cups of iced coffee to hand out to people, or maybe little tiny cups, and then have people kind of tell us about themselves. Now, we will be learning about the people who's having the Classic Car Show, and I'll mention more towards the end about that. I don't want to get too far squirreled. So hopefully I won't get distracted by that again. So, okay, so this is Charlottesville, Virginia, situated in the center of the state and home to University of Virginia. It's a city that Anderson family has called home for many years. My mother has been in this house for over 30 years, Pamela Anderson told Dateline. I brought all 3 of my babies to this house. Okay. See, something's happened. And this is the one thing, like, we should be able to protect our soldiers, or, you would think the safest environment in the nation should be a military installation, but it's not. And which won't make, now I want to do a deep dive into Fort Bragg. Let me write that down, because that's something that we can elaborate on as we go through these coffee clubs. Hopefully, eventually, I'll have other veterans from all over the place tuning in. I know I can have up to 4 people on mine, and I've seen the Mouthwash with 4. So I'm pretty sure I can switch over to that. Okay, so this is Savion Anderson. So in Fort Hood down in Texas, I think it was last week, episode 3, the Veterans Coffee Club, I elaborated on that. In episode 2, I talked about military justice for all and all the girls that died in 2008 in the Baghdad or just in Operation Iraqi Freedom. So if you want to know more about that, check those episodes out. And so Savion graduated from boot camp. She packed her whole family up in the car, grandkids included. It was so emotional. So basically, he's missing. And I don't know what the story is, but if his wife's pregnant, I don't see him taking off too far from home. But sure enough, he has. So can I... Let's see. Sometimes I can get it big. Nope. So Department of the Army Criminal Investigation Division, CID, is requesting assistance in locating a missing soldier assigned to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. That's what I needed. Can't remember where it was at. Not been on my radar. So Specialist Anderson is an active duty service member who is approximately 5'10" and 260 pounds. Specialist Anderson has a chipped front tooth, scar on his left arm, tattoos behind both ears, and a tattoo on his upper left arm. Okay. So that is a story, breaking story. And I'd be putting a bolo out for our battle buddy, Savion Anderson, soldier. I mean, he needs found. I'll share some of these, and actually, I'll do it right now while we're talking. So if you don't know, and you're just tuning in, there is a page that we have. The Veterans Coffee Club podcast. And this is our social media, but then there's also a group. So this is where I'm posting it. So today, follow. Anderson. Missing, let's put soldier. Savion Anderson. Missing from Fort Bragg, North Carolina. So really, I'd hate to think that he had some type of emotional meltdown and find him in the woods somewhere, but I'd also hate to think that we got something weird going on down there in North Carolina that we should be concerned about, right? Army CID, age 25, 5'10", 260. Telling you what. It's nuts. So let's go back to where I was at. So, where are you at? Not Valhalla. We moved on. Okay, there it is. This tab. So let's go back to the other one. Oh, that's what it is. I hate when I do that. Rookie mistake. No, we don't want that one. Missing soldier. Okay. And I turned my camera off because all you could see was my forehead, and I just thought it looked stupid. So my name's up there. The host. I guess it doesn't say host. It just says OIF, but it's supposed to say host too. I guess I'll have to work. Let's see. I'll have to work this out next couple weeks. So, all right. So I went over here and I was looking up the missing soldiers so I could pull up some information. And it looks like we have a couple things. I wanted to talk about the Pentagon and the soldiers who died this week. But then I figured let's go to the older story and then come forward to now. So this week, several soldiers died. We'll cover that in a minute. It's 10:03. We'll get to that before the end of the podcast today. So anyway, when I typed in the subject matter of missing soldier, this stuff popped up. And I don't know about a Sergeant Angel on the Jordan attack. Huh, there's a missing soldier? Uh-oh. Missing soldier. Okay, there's missing soldier from Fort Bragg, but they think he was killed in... Okay, wait. So I guess he is in this one. So we're going to go over here. We're going to cover it since that's a big deal. Let's see. This is the story. So Pentagon identifies third American soldier killed in Iranian attack in Jordan. Okay. Wow. All right. Let's put this in the group. So anybody wanting to do that, you can just go over to the Veterans Coffee Club podcast Facebook group, and you can get the links to that. Go back. Okay, so this is Sergeant Angel. I thought it was a guy. I've been seeing these stories. I've been seeing her face pop up, and I just figured she died because of the... Okay. Ozone Park, New York. Is believed to have been killed in action on July 17th. So that would have been last Friday, 2026, during an enemy attack on Mouthwash Salty Air Base in Jordan, U.S. Army. Pentagon released the believed to be death of a third active duty soldier killed in action late last week, an Iranian ballistic missile and drone attack in Jordan. Okay, third soldier killed during an enemy attack. I don't even. So I'm getting a contact. I'm getting paged, everyone. Hold on. Let me see. Okay, sorry. It's like my bat phone. Okay, so when certain names pop up on my phone, I gotta answer it. Oh, hey, guess who showed up? Tan. No, I'm not. Not on my end. Okay, where are you? Oh, that's from last night. Okay. I can't even tell you what Tanya's saying right now. Hey, okay. I'm going to try to get her on my podcast. So she's the one that was trying to get me. She was sending me all kinds of information about the merger this week. She was flipped out by it. Okay. The missing third service member. Back to what we were talking about. See, I squirrel. The girls got me thrown off there. Romper sod. I don't even know what to think about going back to war. We shouldn't be going to war with anyone. I don't think we should be leaving America's soil anymore. If we can't take care of the soldiers when they come home, there is no reason why we should keep going to war and then pumping everybody through of all the extra vaccines that they don't really need. Then they have allergic reactions to it, and it becomes some unknown disorder years later, like the Gulf War syndrome. And it's quite possible the Gulf War syndrome can be tied back to vaccination injuries in some of the veterans. And that's horrible because I used to suffer with something in the middle of the night when it was cold. And I was thinking I started coming down with some type of Gulf War syndrome. But I keep asking well, it hasn't happened for a while. So kind of there's that. So when I had them run tests and stuff, they said there was nothing. It wasn't similar. So it is what it is. But of course, Veterans Affairs is going to tell me anything because they don't want to have to pay for something. Okay, let's look at missing soldiers from Fort Bragg's area. So we did military justice for all. I wonder if military justice for all has a topic. Okay, I'm going to stay on that one for a minute. Oh, no, I want to let's do this one. Military justice for all. First thing that pops up. So if you're not familiar with this one, this website, I suggest you check it out. And I'm actually going to put it in the group. And you know what? I don't know if I put the video in the group. So let me do that too while we're here. I cannot go live on my YouTube channel, so that kind of blows. I put all the work into building all this. And the screen, I was trying to get the That was a tech blunder. Sorry if it backfed in the microphone. And I think I have an event, and then I'll come back to that website. If I don't do it now, then I won't do it later. And then people might miss it. Somebody might need to go back and listen to the first part at some point. Huh. Oh, I know what I did. All right, guys, here, I'm going to show you. So I'm over here trying to find one of the events, and I actually think I did it through my Nicole page. And the reason why I do a lot of stuff through my main profile is because I just get the views on it. Okay. Yes, the video has started. Okay. There we go. So if you would go over and click going to the Veterans Coffee Club. It helps boost the numbers each week too. So hopefully this stuff gets in the right hands and we help other veterans go through some stuff and find information that they need. So, okay, back to what we were talking about. So if you haven't seen the Military Justice for All page, I suggest going and looking at this page because this page is really phenomenal. They've spent a lot of time putting, I want to say it's kind of like a crime scene investigation junkie website, but military related crimes. Okay. I guess that is, I was trying to go to the homepage. I guess it says, so Kamisha Block was killed on Camp Liberty in 2007, and I was at Camp Liberty in 2008. So I just can't help but see a bunch of similarities in her story and mine, other than she's got a really pretty sister. Her sister's definitely not addicted to meth. You know, I had to come home and deal with my little sister, and a whole bunch of my family members were drug addicts on one side of the family, and then the other side was not. So it was a really yin and yang type return home to Anderson. Finally got through it, but it was a very hard chapter to survive. So military injustice, nowhere to turn, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, story of Kamisha Block. So yeah, if you want to, that's a good story. Head over. If you like crime scene investigation stuff, I suggest, especially the military geared ones, head over and like and follow F Toxic People. She's a married veteran, but I think her and her husband run the page. See if I can get it. Follow. Okay, it was a pop-up. I was able to get a little pop-up and just followed it. Okay, so yeah, so there's all kinds of good stories that you can find on this page. Pretty much all the girls, not all the girls, because some guys got killed too. And let me see. Is this the same one I was just on? Because I want to look at the one I really want everybody to look at, if you haven't seen it yet, is, let's see, non-combatant deaths in war zones. That's okay for groups like, okay. The Ferris Doctrine. Karen was on last week. We had a big old discussion about the Ferris Doctrine and how we're not allowed, like soldiers, basically as soon as you sign up, you're bound to this Ferris doctrine, whether you know it or not. And they don't put it in the fine print at the bottom of the contracts, right? So you don't know, nor would you think that, I'm going to go to war and some stuff's going to pop off, and then I'm going to need, maybe when you get home and you can't get something from the VA, or whatever, you start learning, oh my God, my rule, my life was violated. And then you go to try to sue somebody to, get, claim back, comp claim, and boom, you're met with the Ferris doctrine. And it blocks active duty personnel and their families from filing personal injury or wrongful death lawsuits against the federal government for accidents, hazing, or negligence that happens during service. And then non-combat realities happen all the time. So Kamisha Block's story is insane because they told her family she died differently. And that, is a blow, because the body came home from Iraq and she definitely had wounds that did not line up with the traditional story that they gave Kamisha's sister. So Kamisha's sister became an activist, and she's been to DC and really doing some stuff in the name of her sister. And I'm glad she's doing it, because it's going to help a lot of families. Now, I can't get the page to pop up that I really, really want. And it's maybe if I do add one more. Okay. I knew if I did it right, it would pop up. So if you haven't saw this story, this is another, this one will take you down all kinds of rabbit holes. Right into we talked about the invisible war happening. That's, military sexual trauma amongst the ranks of males and females. It's kind of sad that that's kind of happens to everyone, or it could happen to anyone, even the guys, from both male and females. Like, so it's not like it has this, the perps have their go-tos. I mean, you could get assaulted by same sex. I don't know how I would feel about that one, but I've heard some stories. So anyway, check that out. And I'm just doing a little recap from last week as why I'm so into studying this particular subject, because I never would have thought in a million years, like, if they can't keep us safe in a war zone or on a military installation, then what good are we? And then when stuff happens, it probably wouldn't be so bad if they just admitted it, like when you do something wrong. I mean, because they hold you accountable to every jot and tittle. And then when other soldiers do stuff like this non-combat related incident, okay, she's in a war zone. How, I know medically, I know some of these, like one was injured, medical, natural causes, gunshot wound to the abdomen, Jennifer Cole. I was a Cole. So this one hit home because I was a Cole coming out of a divorce and then got my surname back. But on record, all the behind the scenes military records, they deployed me non-deployable as, didn't even have my name right. And they said they sent me to Iraq as a single soldier, and then were trying to convince me that I didn't have children. Okay, so you want to talk about a psyop or something that's going to make you angry, is when someone, and I know, I guess crazy people could think that they don't, or they have children when they don't have children. But dude, I have stretch marks. So I wasn't about to let nobody tell me I didn't have kids. I don't know what they was talking about. And then later on we figure out, oh, somebody messed up on my documentation. And instead of just admitting that they did something wrong, they tried to turn me into a crazy person. So I could have been Vanessa Guillen back in 08, 09, and I made it home. And I have a freaking story. So hence why I don't like it when they say stuff. So about my military service. People want to talk about it and say that they see this, or I don't even know. But there's that. So back to here. Missing soldiers. So, oh no. Let's see if they have anything that points us in a direction to. That's what I wanted to come over here for. And then I talked about that real quick. Hometown homicide, local mysteries premiered, Kelly Bordeaux. Okay, so this is 2019. Soldier disappears after a night out. Fort Bragg, Army soldier Iris Armstrong found murdered in home. Accused spouse Jason Armstrong found dead after intense manhunt. 2016. Fort Bragg, Army Captain Jeremy Chandler died after explosive detonated during training operations in Afghanistan. Okay, not exactly what I was looking for. I was wanting to find any weird disappearances. Like in Texas. Like Texas has all kinds of weird disappearances. And if you go down that rabbit hole, I was looking at the bases trying to figure out something about one of the vehicles. He was going too fast, and like one of them souped up Mustangs and hit a T and didn't stop and just kept going into the woods in his Mustang. It was just crazy story. Okay, so that's that. Let's see. Soldiers. Well, they want me to spell it out. Let's do mysterious. Army nurse's disappearance unravels. Uh-oh, here's one. What's this? Into chilling case of murder, arson, and lies. Holly Lynn James was stationed at Fort Bragg when she vanished. See, I don't even know nothing about this one. It's probably not related to what happened to the other guy, but that I don't know this one. Right. Let's see.
Everything's okay. So I just wanted to tell you hi, and I love you, and I miss you. So I just wanted to send you a quick hi and let you know that everything's okay. I'll talk to you later, baby. Bye.
There is still no official word on the whereabouts of Army Lieutenant Holly Wyman.
I mean, the Army's got a missing soldier. That's a big deal. A shocking discovery. Another female soldier also gone missing from Fort Bragg.
Was she a victim of some serial killer?
The mirror had a very large insignia. It was a zodiac sign. Somebody's reenacting the Zodiac murders. It's like something you see in a movie.
Now, a father's desperate hunt.
If you somehow committed a perfect murder, there's a...
See what I get myself into, you guys? I was not, like when I pushed play, I was not thinking that all this stuff was going to pop off, but it's almost like a single white female now. Oh, it's on Hulu. So now, you know what I'm going to be watching later?
Sliver of chance that you could get away with it.
To find his daughter's killer.
Your father was on a mission to try to figure out what happened to his daughter.
So now the race is on.
Follow the clues. Follow the search.
For God's sake, son, I need to find this woman.
In a mystery.
He saw a guy running through the shadows.
That will keep you guessing until the very end.
It's come to Jesus time.
If I'd have had that gun, I would have killed him.
The all-new 2020 true crime event, Friday night at 9/8 Central on ABC.
Interesting. So now I'm going to be finding that story. let's see. What was her name? Holly Lynn James. So we'll look at that. I'll cover that at a different time because we're starting to get down here towards the end. And I'm going to hop over to finish with VA benefits going on in DC. VFW and them. I kind of started out talking about it, and then we've just kind of jumped around. I do have ADHD, and when I drink coffee, I just, I got to explain some things so you understand. And hopefully, eventually, people will start coming on where we can banter back and forth. Oh, she didn't come on. She was answering my question. So my friend keeps getting camera shy. And okay, fine. Let's see. Yay. Benefits. News. Okay, this is a good sign. Changes to veterans benefits stalled in Congress. Many still qualify for more than they realize. Okay, when are August 2026? They come on the 1st. Big change proposed for millions of veterans seeking disability survivor benefits. DAV condemns congressional proposal to cut disability benefits for 1.5 million veterans. Now, I have issues with the local DAV chapter. I don't so much have issues with the main DAV national organization because they're doing big things. And, it's just like any other organization. Of course, it's not helping their membership numbers when you got a turdy-dirt group of people running around attacking other veterans, claiming to help other veterans. And then, some like my issues I've had with some of the local like VFWs and stuff like that. I'm 1% of the 10%. And so I'm a girl, female veteran, and it's hard to hang out with older veterans that happen to be males from other generations. And it's fine when when there's like an event and everybody's hanging out talking and stuff like that, but when you get into where people are drinking, and it gets odd and uncomfortable. So I just don't feel like I fit in with some veterans, and that's okay. Maybe that's how it's supposed to be, but oh no, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to be able to find a group of people that I could feel some type of connection with. I feel connection with people online that I can't meet with all the time. So I guess that's why I like the podcast, because I get social interaction from people that actually support me and aren't attacking me like the local elected officials. Veterans fought for these benefits. So basically, one of the things I saw they were trying to do is trying to make us veterans now pay for stuff for veterans in the future, and I'm not down for that either. Okay, which one? So if you want to go back to the beginning, after the uniform, had some pretty good stuff, and let me go ahead and put that up here. Uniform. Oh no, that's pretty good stuff. And okay, yeah, go ahead. I don't have to have that up here. Uniform. Oh no, that's pretty good stuff. And okay, yeah, go ahead. I don't have to have that up here. Head over and give this guy like. Head over and like my Veterans Coffee Club podcast stuff too. I need some love on that. We pick up next week on the Mouthwash platform, so probably have more people tuning in and maybe be able to get some co-hosts going. I'd like to have all kinds of people get on, and it'd be nice to have people from other states, other veterans from other states. My cousin said he was going to get on here, but he hasn't. I think he's been going on trips with his family to go camping. He's in Pennsylvania. So maybe by fall, when it cools down, I might be able to get him on because he's an Afghanistan vet. My other little cousin that served in the Army became part of the 22. a day, soldiers that commit suicide. So have him come on, but we lost him actually in August a few years ago. There's that. But anyway, head over and like after the uniform. He has a lot of good information on his stuff. I talk about him and I go through some of these videos at the beginning of this podcast. And then don't forget to head over here to Valhalla VFT. He doesn't like Trump, so I'll fair warn everybody, he can't stand Trump. Is this his? Okay, I was on the shorts. He's got a lot of videos, but I don't think he likes either. I don't think he was a big fan of Biden either. There's some good stuff. And if Sean Ryan, I was listening to his new one just came out. Well, I picked up on Sean Ryan last week. Okay, and I've been seeing his stuff for years, and he's become a pretty well-known, well, of course, 6.3 million subscribers. I'm not worthy. But last week he had one with, well, that's 4 hours, bro. Okay. I got turned on to him again with this Aaron Brockovich clip. So if you haven't seen that, go back and check that out. But I just caught him on the Tucker Carlson show. So if you haven't checked some of his stuff out, I highly suggest going and looking at his videos. And he's going through this life-changing experience like I've been through. Okay, I went through one in like 2011, so I know exactly what he's talking about. And last night he made a good comment. He said he went and had this experience, and I couldn't figure out if he was talking about mushrooms or not. And he probably it was something he went and did, and he said it was like horrible, and he had an experience where he felt like what hell was going to be like, and he didn't want to go there. And so if there was that, if things were that evil, there had to be an equally and better good. And that's kind of something, that's how I got to where I'm at now. If there was so much evil in the world, there has to be good, right? And so I'm always trying to find the good in a messed up world. But that's me. So anyway, if you haven't checked out Sean Ryan's stuff, I highly suggest going over and check his stuff out. You're not going to find some of these guys on the mainstream TV or any of the apps. And then last night, and Sean even said he stopped looking at the figures. He doesn't even look at how many views he's getting. Of course, he's got a big old team. It would be nice to eventually get to a point where I have an assistant for all my stuff and like a full team of people that can help put these things on, the podcasts and whatnot. And it just would be nice. But if it doesn't happen, I'm okay being solo too, because I can do a lot on my own. Just is what it is. But he was talking last night and said he's just on YouTube. And that's kind of where I'm at. And YouTube's free right now. I do have several channels that I put my stuff on. The Veterans Coffee Club definitely goes on Veterans Coffee Club channel. So if you haven't liked the Veterans Coffee Club channel, please go over and subscribe, help me get my numbers up over there so that eventually I can go live from YouTube. I got this kind of talks about something I had to deal with DAB, the local chapter. I will be uploading the episodes of the Veterans Coffee Club to the YouTube channel as I get them. I only have like 5 subscribers over here, so that's why I've heavily rely on Facebook to help get those numbers up. And then Mouthwash, so let me pull them up. Mouthwash comes along a few weeks ago after the Republican bad standing ordeal and asked if I wanted to do a podcast. And so first we were talking about
Hi, my name's John Schmitz. I live in Mars Hill, just down the road here. A lot of people say Mooresville. No, it's Mars Hill. I'm here representing my constituents down there. 628 properties in the floodplain.
He said,
and I have sort of a unique story here because I actually ran against Andre Carson last year in the election. And 78,000 people in this district voted for me. And I really feel like those voices aren't being heard. Now, I'm saying that because there's some other Republicans that are safe in districts. He is so safe that he would not campaign or debate with me or even come out to my neighborhood. I've sent multiple messages to him about fixing this floodplain. I have receipts. I'm a contractor. I can help fix this. What I get back is a form letter that says, check our website out. Thanks for participating. So
they got a bunch of other
if life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And you look at this and you say, well, there's going to be a lot of folks that are going to have to go out and they're going to have to campaign in places they've never been. How do we bring people together? How do we bring somebody from Albany together? I have a friend down in Albany that does the same things I do, serve homeless. They have problems with the flood because they're down the Ohio River. We have more in common than people think. This map will force both Republican and Democrat representatives to get out and actually campaign and listen to people when you ask,
play this John clip real quick so you can kind of have a crash course.
Hi, my name's John Schmitz. I live in...
Can I? Or do I have my... I don't know. I think I have it muted. And it won't let me.
Mars Hill, just down the road here.
I sure do. Okay. Let's go over here. Indy. I don't know. Yep. Okay, let's switch it because sometimes it does that and I can't get it to come off mute. So we'll just do a new tab.
Hi, my name's John Schmitz. I live in Mars Hill, just down the road here. A lot of people say Mooresville. No, it's Mars Hill. I'm here representing my constituents down there. 628 properties in the floodplain. And I have sort of a unique story here because I actually ran against Andre Carson last year in the election. And 78,000 people in this district voted for me. And I really feel like those voices aren't being heard. Now, I'm saying that because, there's some other Republicans that are safe in districts. He is so safe that he would not campaign or debate with me or even come out to my neighborhood. I've sent multiple messages to him about fixing this floodplain. I have receipts. I'm a contractor. I can help fix this. What I get back is a form letter that says, check our website out. Thanks for participating. So I think if life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And you look at this and you say, well, there's going to be a lot of folks that are going to have to go out and they're going to have to campaign in places they've never been. How do we bring people together? How do we bring somebody from Albany together? I have a friend down in Albany that does the same things I do, serve homeless. They have problems with the flood because they're down at the Ohio River. We have more in common than people think. This map will force both Republican and Democrat representatives to get out and actually campaign and listen to people when you ask, hey, will you come to my neighborhood? Will you debate this or will you talk to me? 80% while I vote for somebody is because if you can get a hold of them. Right now, I can't get a hold of my state rep, refuses to talk to me, and my U.S. Representative refuses to talk to me. That's why I think that we need to do this to shake it up and get some people out here and get excited. If all these folks would get so excited about serving our homeless and our murder rates and our roads, we'd be in a lot better place. This has been sort of an interesting experiment. First, I was for it, against it, whatever. Maps don't elect people. People elect politicians. Thank you. Hi, my name's John Schmitz.
Okay, I like John.
John Schmitz. Hi, my name's John. I live in Mars Hill.
I'm gonna get in that forever loop. Okay. So if you don't know who the Mouthwash is, I highly suggest going over and following their stuff. See, I did have it following. I helped him get to 2.5K followers in the last couple weeks because, you know, my people came through and hit that like button, which reminds me, I'm going to turn it on as I'm winding down here. I have to go get a camper from my little cousin, another little cousin. Her dad or her grandpa was a Marine on Hamburger Hill. So I come from a long line of vets. Oh, okay, that's from, what is that? I don't know. Was that me on Thursday? His boomer brain. He did. I was. Love you guys.
Turn the
I
mic.
saw that, and I was gonna say something to him like, "You're doing church reviews today? Like, this is Saturday." And then no, there we go. How did he find that? He found it. So anyway, I created a little intro. He inspired me to create this intro, and then supposedly I learned this morning that he went in and deleted his because he liked mine so much. And I'm like, I thought his intro for me was cute, and I was going to keep it because it just I was, and then now he's taking it. So now I got to get a hold of him here in a little bit and tell him to put it back on because I like it. Okay, that was from Thursday. And see, look, I hit the wrong button. I had a brain. Okay, so
Things America's largest private prison company makes. Things that make more money than.
See, this is the only thing I hate about scrolling. Okay, I'm going back to the top. All right, so I am going to cut it a little early today because I have to go pick up a camper and bring it home. And it's going to be a real doozy. It'll be we haven't had a camper in a while, and it's going to be part of the Veterans Coffee Club group. So I'll go back over here. If you haven't liked my Veterans Coffee Club podcast page, head over and give us some likes. I got some good followers over here, 163 followers. But I still can't use the YouTube channel. So, when I gotta change some stuff. Oh, I do have a Veterans Coffee Club podcast website, but I'm kind of in the middle of adapting some things. So I don't care for this URL. So I have changed that to a different URL. But either way, they both go to the same website. But this one's going to be taken out of commission because it doesn't fit what we're doing now. Here's a bunch of communities. You can come over here and like these groups. See, Homeless Community Coalition. I'm not giving up on my Homeless Community Coalition idea. Nope. But yeah. So next week we're going to pick up on Mouthwash. I'll have to do a little bit of a shift on some of my marketing, and then I'll probably come on for about an hour next week, and then I got to go set up a booth space at a classic car show. So I will put that information on my social media page or Facebook in the next couple days. For anybody interested in trying to attend, if you're in Madison County or within driving distance, come to the car show if you can and do an interview with me. Sit and do the podcast with me. We can bring extra chairs and hand out iced coffee and cookies or donuts or whatever we feel like doing for the day. So that's going to be real interesting, and it'll be my first live podcast from the Mouthwash with the Veterans Coffee Club podcast. So I think it's going to be a really nice fit. He's got a way larger platform than me, and I would just like to team up with people to, spread the information. So Thursdays, I usually do everything from a civilian standpoint. And then for this podcast, we do a little deeper dive into all kinds of stuff because I'm really into crime scenes, and some of the stories that happen in all these other places around the nation with veterans and military personnel really intrigues me. So there's that. So all right, guys, it's been real. Look forward to growing with everyone soon. So head over and like our social media. And with that, I'm just gonna go out on, let's see, move that.
Grab a cup, pull up a chair. The Veterans Coffee Club podcast is on the air. Different branches, different posts, different years, same ride. We know the long convoys, guardships, chow halls, pride. We know the crackle of a radio, boots humming on the floor, letters home, family calls, the waiting by the door. No matter where we serve or the uniform we wore, there's always room around this table. Come on in and shut the door. Veterans Coffee Club podcast. Pull up and take a seat. One cup, one story. Keep the pulse and eat. Veterans Coffee Club, where the words run deep. We show up, we speak up, and we keep what we keep. With a hot cup of coffee and some truth we need to say. Veterans helping veterans, that's how we lead the way. Blue or green, doesn't matter. Yeah, you still in. If you're in it now, say so. We all pack the boxes, we move from town to town. Hey! Late nights with the news on, yeah, and the phone right there. You know that life too, yeah, we live some of it. You ever have one of those days you don't know what to say all the time? That's why we sit here. From yesterday's warriors to those still serving today, we honor every sacrifice and the price that freedom paid. The Veterans Coffee Club podcast. Grab a cup, take a seat. One cup, one story. Honest talk, no repeat.